Stand clear.
100% Wild Podcast.
So for all you listeners,
Hello, and welcome to
definitely not your favorite outdoor podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild Podcast. This is episode number 326, and it's powered, as always, by DeerCast.
You're Tim Chelsvik.
And I am Matt Drury.
And wait. And who do we have with us?
We got Curt Geier from Working Class.
Lil Curtis in the house.
Lil Curtis.
Thank you. I'm glad
It's
that
a
never
cool
went
rapper
away.
name.
No. He texted me the other day, said, hey, is it cool? Lil Curtis is coming in to drop off some stuff. Can we shoot a podcast? I thought, Lil Curtis. I was like, yeah, Lil Curtis.
Yes.
Lil Curt sounds more like a rapper. Lil Curtis sounds like I'm just a child.
It's a mix.
Yeah.
It's a mix of like street cred plus very formal.
Okay.
I'm Lil Curtis.
Lil Curt. I like Lil Curt.
Yeah, I'm a rapper, but I can also like kind of get through a job interview.
Hey, is that? Do I smell ketchup? Is that ketchup?
No.
I don't get that one.
Step Brothers reference.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Wait,
I
now
can
the
help with
tuxedo
whole
seems
pan-
screwed up.
pan situation.
Tim says a lot of stuff when I record with him. I'm just like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm just gonna act like I
You
do.
should record everyone with him.
Yeah, it's a good time. Some people like it's a gem for some people. Most people, it's like, oh, what is that?
See, I know Step Brothers, but I didn't catch that one. Yes, a lot of the stuff I'm just like, oh yeah, there it
I'm
is.
happy to be here.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for having me come down.
Hold on, we got issues.
Man, we got this set.
Here we go. I was gonna play a soundboard. Sound.
I'm sorry, I'm whistling in the mic.
We're trying
Oh,
to.
that was your iPad.
Your mom are hillbillies.
There. That's. We could go.
If you touch my drums, I will stab you in the neck with a knife.
All right, now we can move on.
I like that one.
This is how you impress a real podcaster. Hold on a second. Let me plug this in.
real-
Not a doucher.
No, I do appreciate it. That's something we do. Your guys' set, man, is really like leveled up. This is the first time I've seen like the new.
That's right. You
setup.
haven't been on since we were over in the corner over there.
Yeah, I like this, man. This is I said before we started recording, you guys are like a late night show now. You know what I mean?
A real Johnny Carson. I'm gonna have a comedian on, and I'm gonna wave them over to the set here if I like what they got to say.
All the kids are like,
good.
"What's a Johnny Carson?"
Yeah. Okay. Jimmy Kimmel. No, he's too liberal.
Jimmy
Fallon.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Fallon.
Yep.
Conan.
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 Conan's
Conan was the
coolest.
man.
Yeah, he was the coolest.
Man, as soon as he went to TBS, he got screwed though.
Yeah, Conan's the best.
The whole
Leno
Leno.
really screwed him over.
Yes, he's still a little bitter about that.
Yeah,
a bummer.
I would be too.
But it just feels official, man.
Yeah.
And I go back to our studio, and it's not that it's not official, but it's just I'm like, our production's not there. We're just guys that have conversations.
But you guys get the content.
so that's debatable. I think.
Content rules.
But the difference is we're at our studio and we're surrounded with producers, editors. Like these guys
Yeah.
are college educated on
Yeah.
that topic.
Yeah, right. So it should look like this. Yeah.
Yeah, they
And you go
actually
to
know
our
what they're
place.
doing.
There's a bar and a room with mics in it, and
That sounds pretty good too.
but it's us. You know,
Yeah.
it's our vibe.
Hey, you came on a good day today because Alan, we got this new Cabela's pellet smoker, this Pro Series.
Okay.
And so he's got 3 racks of ribs. That's why he's not running the board over here. He's got 3 racks of ribs. He's got a whole, I don't know how many wings. And what else is he? Oh, and our new intern, Will Wilson, he brought in a bunch of duck and goose poppers.
Ooh.
So
I wonder if he's removed the pellets from them.
yeah. Well, I
Chew
don't know.
carefully,
all
everybody.
right. Yeah.
And I would be a jerk if I did not mention that producer Matt, the guy running the podcast, he brought in a dessert. It's already half gone. We ate it before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay.
It's so good. It's just like the blueberry cookie cake thing with homemade
man.
whipped cream and blueberries that he macinated or something. It sounded like he said masturbated. I kept saying
I don't know what either one of those words is.
masturbated.
It's macerated.
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 The pre-chewed. He chewed them already.
They are so good. The whole thing's
I thought
good.
macerated was when you burn something.
No, that's immolated.
I think you're both making it up.
I don't know.
Hey,
Well, thanks
so-
for inviting me on a food day.
It's going to be a really quick show.
All right, Kurt, thanks for coming.
Well,
Glad
I
you
was
brought our
getting
iPad
pissy
back.
because I was like, you were supposed to be here at 10 originally, is what I was told. And then
that's true.
10:40 is the second thing I was told. So at 10:40, I come over here. I start looking out the window, and he's like, "You excited for little Curtis to be here?" I was like, "No, I'm hungry and I got shit to do this afternoon."
You got makeup done at like 10:15.
Yeah, it's in a sweat.
You don't want it to cake.
There
That's
you
a
go.
bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I figured I'd show up like fashionably late. I figured I was gonna like show up and there's gonna be like an intervention. Like, what have you been doing on your show lately?
What's wrong with you?
You come in and then everybody just surrounds you.
We got to talk. Yeah, jump.
So you drove down from Illinois. I hope you brought some delicious Casey's pizza with you because I like eating it.
I heard you're hating on the Casey's Pizza Man, and that's a big problem.
Who's the Casey's Pizza Man?
Yeah, you're a loser.
Everybody else in the Midwest, but you, man.
So he talked trash about it.
I
He
asked a
has
question.
been. You've been talking trash about it since the beginning.
Give me an
and
example.
so then he was on a little trip this weekend, and he stopped at a Casey's. His brother got a piece of Casey's pizza, and Tim pretended to take a bite out of it. It was obvious he wasn't actually eating it.
Yeah.
And he had his brother take a picture and he put it on the Rack Pack, our Facebook
I'm in
group.
her.
And everybody railed him. And then we put in a thing that said, "All right, the best meme or whatever, the best, meme with Tim, what he should be eating wins."
Yeah.
Man, they just roasted Tim. It was
Man, the Casey's thing's a touchy
a
stuff.
lot of glazed donuts, drumsticks.
I'm surprised it only went that far.
Man, we talk about Casey's Pizza every time I think I'm down here. Like the last time when Ross was with me, talked about reaching in the back of the little spinny thing over all the pizza to grab the slice.
Get the best pieces,
Naturally comes up, But
No, I'm a normal person that enjoys cake. I cracked a cold beer to wash it down.
Then drove.
And then
on the
had
drive.
some scalding hot coffee afterwards because I also like coffee.
Tim's a weirdo.
yeah,
He
he's
doesn't like that dessert I just explained.
Yeah.
He's not going to have any.
because he's too in shape.
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, man. Live your life a little,
I mean, every once in a while.
Yeah, you gotta
Look
Thanks,
at
guys.
us.
look at us.
Hey, look at us.
We
Two wild
indulge
and
just
crazy
every
guys.
once in a while.
How do you know I didn't have a beer on the way here? I mean, you gotta live, man. But I also respect you for being healthy.
That goes.
Just
It
a little
sounded
bit.
like it hurt when you said it.
I was going to say, that was like a
Also,
backhanded
I
compliment.
have
Yeah.
respect for you.
I'm sure your life's a ton of fun.
Wait a minute.
Dude, I
don't think that's legit.
Yeah.
I bet you're the first people at parties that just everybody wants to come up and hang out with you at a party.
Oh, yeah.
And the first one to leave.
And the first one to leave.
Yeah,
I
it's
got-
getting late. It's
I got
almost
places.
8.
Hey, Matlock's almost over. I got to get home.
I got to
Well,
watch the
jeez.
episode of Gunsmoke.
Well, episode number 576 of your show, you guys talk about the bear hunt.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like from a Midwestern guy
Yeah.
going to hunt bear, like what's that? What like are you doing anything to prepare for that? And if so,
Casey's
what?
Pizza, drinking beer. And
Yeah,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
10-yard shots. No, what we do WCB bear camps. We've done them for a few years. We always do them in Wyoming traditionally. But we had a guy from Manitoba that we actually met. He was our neighbor at the Indianapolis show.
yeah.
John from Big Woods Wilderness. He's like, hey, have you guys ever thought about doing like a Manitoba bear camp? And
He said Manitoba.
yeah, however they talk, it's I don't get into
Three
the
O's.
Canadian jargon, but whatever they do up there, America's hat, as I like to call them. But he's like, hey, have you guys ever
what's
thought?
Mexico?
No.
The toilet.
I hunted Mexico and Canada this year
Florida?
already, and none of them really won me over either direction. So I'm still debating what's better, Mexicans or Canadians, and I just like America, Anyway, we're going down a dark hole. But no, we do WCB bear camps, and we book them out. And normally there's like a waiting list. So I'm like, well, let's do Wyoming and Canada. And John invited us up to basically take over his camp. And, it's a baited hunt in Canada. It is in Wyoming too, but it's a little different with the terrain. But a lot of close shots. I think 20 and in. I mean, you're not going to shoot a bear past 20, but a lot of studying for bears. So you don't shoot them like a whitetail. It's more middle of the middle and a touch forward, is where you want to shoot them.
Several of our team members would be great at bear hunting.
Yeah.
Middle of the middle.
Center mass.
All right.
Everything like that anyway. But it's how big is a bear? They're impossible to judge. I've shot a couple of them.
The smaller the ear, the bigger the bear, right?
You'd think, but when you look at a bear, it's like they're all like their own individual. It's so hard. I go for the triangle method, the line between the ears, and then from the ears to the nose. If it's like an equal triangle, then it's probably a good size bear, the big pumpkin head on them is what you want, or like a crease in the middle of the forehead, like the big muscles down to the skull. But it's so tough, like the bear I shot one the first day, and I watched him for like 6 minutes, and I'm like, I don't know. I think this is a good bear. I want to shoot him, but you're just trying to make sure, And then I found that it was a good bear, but that's the hardest thing about it. Where to shoot him and how to decide if it's a shooter bear or not.
Sure.
So
This is years ago. I got a chance to go at Leopold to Wild Country Adventures where Austin Land works and his family runs that operation. Same thing with elk, because for me, never elk hunting. It's like, this one looks great. That one looks great. He's big, and they're all and they're like, nah.
It's like, what does a big one look like? Show me. But
oh boy,
that's what she said.
It's the same. That was a good one, and fast too. You're on the ball.
That one button, I know where that's at.
It's got a big star
right in the middle. The others I still
speed dial.
Normally you're gonna look in there. It is, but it's hard. It's hard with bears, man. You just can't. I don't know. You don't want to shoot a small one. And they're actually, people think bears are bigger than they actually are anyway. Black bears.
Yeah.
And I think growing up in the Midwest, we just have in our head that they're all big, giant, angry things, but they're not as big as you think. Like 200, 250 is like a good bear. And of course, they get way bigger and crazier than that. But
okay,
it's just tough.
I've never, we've had team members forever go on bear hunts. I've never really enjoyed watching the bear hunts. I don't care to, it just doesn't seem, I'm just not interested. So I'm not interested in going on a hunt. Explain to me why it's different maybe in person than what you see on TV, because how it's portrayed on TV, the typical black bear over bait hunt is not appealing for the masses.
I 100% get that. Like I do. I get it. The first bear I killed was Wyoming. It was more like horseback, backcountry adventure.
That seems pretty legit.
That was cool,
Yeah.
And I wanted to have the Canadian experience, because you watch some hunting shows and it's all like this overly dramatic, like, oh, they're bears. And I think it can be crazy and dangerous.
It's a grizzly, a brown bear, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure a black bear too. But.
I'm sure in certain cases, and I'm not a bear expert. I'm just going off my experience from Wyoming to Canada. You got that on your note, bear expert. But thank you.
Bear expert.
But it's a different experience. It's something you can do with your buddies, because you're typically only hunting afternoon. So we fished all morning and had like that camp camaraderie. It's kind of relaxed. And then you go out and hunt the afternoon over bait. And some guys are like, the bait thing. But for me, it's just like the way they hunt black bears.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Totally. Not knocking out the outfitters or the style, or that's just how they hunt them.
It's how they have to hunt them, really.
Because otherwise they're not.
Oh, they're giant raccoons, man. There'd be so many. And the shots are easy. It's kind of an easier hunt than normal, especially for, the outfitter has the work into it for baits and finding the sites. But it's kind of just like a relaxing hunt. I would sell it as like, if you're going to go on your first hunt for another species besides like a whitetail, black bear's a pretty good thing to like cut your teeth on, because you get to travel in, how to travel with your equipment. It gives you kind of like the experience of studying for different shots and judgment and all that. So I think culturally it's a good step to kind of like broaden your hunting experiences, that's how I would sell it. And it's relaxed, but you get to spend time with people in camp more than you would a whitetail hunt.
I like the camaraderie aspect of it. That seems like the fishing, even though I could care less about fishing, but that does sound like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Doing frying up the fish right there, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And everyone called me Curt Dance in camp, because I'm not a fisherman. So I bought a Bill Dance fishing pole on the way down at Cabela's. And
let me ask you, is it a push button?
No, it wasn't the Mickey Mouse. I don't even know what it was called. You got a Mickey Mouse?
It doesn't have Mickey Mouse on it, but it's a Zepco.
I don't even know what it's called.
I'm a Zepco man.
You grab the line, flip the thing over, throw it. I'm not a fisherman, man. So that's why everyone called me Curt Dance. I was giving like fake fishing tips to my buddies while they're filming.
Did you fall in the water at any time?
I didn't.
Bill's thing.
Curse out a trailer hitch.
Yeah, exactly. Snake landed on me or whatever. But I caught the least amount of fish in camp. And we're in Canada, like it doesn't get any better. And it took me like a day to catch my first fish. I'm like,
I know you guys caught pike. Did you catch any walleye too?
Yeah. I caught a walleye, a couple big walleye and smallmouth.
Nice.
They're called walleye.
Oh, crud! I've been calling them the wrong thing all this time.
Yeah.
Come on, Tim.
Man.
Yeah. So that's kind of the bonus, it's a fun camp.
The part of bear hunting that I'm interested in that seems like it's got to be a little different than whitetails is the tracking process. I would think the hair mats up the blood a little more, and then you've got an angry, potentially angry predator at the other end of that may or may not be dead.
Yes, I said in camp, I might have said on that episode that they're covered in sponges because the hair's so long, it takes a while for the blood to hit the ground because it just gets mopped up by the hair. And, we had some bears that we blood trailed. We blood trailed 6 bears that week, and almost one bled really well. But like my bear, I 10 rings, center punched, and really not a lot of blood. And he went less than 100 yards. So it's just tough. The whole thing.
Visually looking for him.
Yeah, really. And it's so dense up there in Canada. Like you're just body searching or getting on what little trails are there. It was pretty difficult, man, but good shots. You got to make good shots on them. Otherwise it's not good.
Did anyone have a sidearm with them on the tracking process, or does that even?
The outfitter did. He had in Canada, apparently they can't have pistols now.
Thanks, Trudeau.
Yeah. So, I was worried about getting our bows over the border because they just look more dangerous than a pistol at certain points. But they had little sawed off shotgun things, and
How the hell does this make sense?
Same thing, but I don't know. I didn't carry any sidearms. Of course, I can't bring it up there anyway. But we were trailing a bear, and we got kind of ahead of the outfit. And he's like, "If you don't have guns, don't be up there. Don't be ahead." But it's weird. It's like maybe the Midwestern in me. I don't feel like it's dangerous. But I guess maybe if you did walk up on and it was wounded, it might be a problem. But I don't know. I don't feel the danger in it. And I'm just saying that because I know some shows built it up like we could get eaten out here. Look at us.
Name names.
Yeah.
I don't know their names. I know there's a lot of affliction T-shirts floating around.
Oh boy.
That is the exhausting thing about our industry, and people even do it with whitetails. You're not you're shooting a plant eating animal.
Okay.
You're shooting an herbivore.
Yeah, we just had Nick Morris on the podcast, and we talked about we tend to give them too much credit sometimes, but that conversation kind of hurts my feelings.
Yeah, well, that's why we're not that good at hunters.
It's because I'm overthinking everything.
I heard his clip about it's not that hard on that big deer he killed, and I'm like, well, that's awesome. That worked out for him. And Nick, he's great
dude,
great guy, great hunter. But I thought to myself, that wouldn't be my experience. Anytime I've ever gotten aggressive, I've really
messed it up worse. And
stupid.
I think it's a great example of as point as you can overthink it, but a guy even told him in that podcast, I'm like, man, that conversation hurts my feelings. Like Waddell called them goats. He's like, they're just goats. And I'm like, they're not though. They're more, they are, but they're not.
They're not.
Ray I calls turkeys feathered stupid dinosaurs or something.
Like velociraptors.
What it doesn't do, it doesn't stroke our egos.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of that. And that's why.
Well, and two, if we're being honest, man, not I could have really built this hunt up to be this bear hunt to you guys that are
some major adventure of your lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we went out and man, we boated into our baits and I got in and I had a bear chomping at me while I'm getting in my stand. I barely got it. I could have done all that, but it's not every hunt's that way. There's still time. Give me a beer.
Go backwards on it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, up over there.
But you know what I mean, though? It's not every hunt is this big thing. Sometimes hunts are just simple and it works out the way it does, and then it's over.
I'm hoping for some of those this fall.
When they happen, you got to take them. Yeah. It's all right.
The streakiness, which the greats they don't go through the streakiness.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, the streakiness of I had a great season, I had a crappy season, I had a great season, or I had one great season and 2 crappy seasons. That's exhausting, but it totally is legit. And we see it from a team member perspective all the time. We might have a guy or a team that might go several seasons, just tough luck seasons.
Yeah.
And then boom, one season they kill a couple booners or something. You just don't know, and you got to stick with people because just don't know what kind of season they're going to have. But if you don't have the deer, even if you have the herd in the special deer in the herd, doesn't mean that you're going to be successful.
Well, there's so many variables. Disease from anything missing. You could have a buck there and miss, and it just that type of stuff happens.
Bad hits, weather, and the drought we're going through now. If you can't if you're food plot dependent like we are, then there goes your whole strategy on getting them out to a food source. So the
antlers suffer in drought and so much.
Yeah. So
that's why it's good not to take too many ostentatious victory laps when you're having a good season.
You just kind of quietly enjoy it.
Be humble.
Be humble because I really do feel I do think, I don't know how you guys feel about it. When you have a rough go, and just sometimes some years it just nothing goes right ever. I feel like you get paid back for it.
Well, by gosh,
it's going to be a payday this year.
A wall this year.
I mean, don't hold me to it. It might take a couple of years, but it could be your year.
Had 2 crappy years.
Well, then you could have a big year this year. I mean, here I'll save you on that.
There you go. Yeah. So Tommy always says, Jim Tomey, baseball god. He always says, be humble. And this guy's hit 612 home runs in his career. First ballot Hall of Famer. And he's got this. There's this funny story. His son, he's a teenager, and he's a baseball phenom. And when he was in Little League baseball, and Jim was his coach, and he said the kid hit a home run, and he said he taught him to put his head down and run the bases, which is what Jim always did. Yeah. And then I think they high-fived or something, and then he hit a second home run, and he said, be humble. Jim said to him, be humble, as he, took off running. And then the kid hit a third home run in the game. And Jim was like, I didn't know what to say.
All right, celebrate a little bit.
But yeah, be humble is a good way to go about your life. And I think to your point about our industry and the ego, we always call it egonomics that kind of runs our industry. Be humble isn't necessarily the ones that are, I think, kind of rise to the top. Yeah. And the ones that aren't, you kind of see right through. So.
For sure. I mean, it's just like how authentic you are. Like, even if you can celebrate and still be humble. You know, I think there's probably an equation to that. But I think, people catch on to that, especially nowadays, man, with social platforms. Like, anybody who's faking it, it's like you see through them pretty fast.
Well, if you're on your social, and it's just stories of boomerangs, and like you never hear the person talk, and they're never real. It's everything scripted or seems scripted. Yeah. Like, it's like, all right.
You guys let me ask you this. You guys kind of mingle with more like high end guests, I guess. So you have more like access to it and stuff. Do you ever have people not do the show, like maybe because it might expose that they can't like have a conversation for an extended period of time?
Not necessarily that. I've had people that I've reached out to that just don't reply, and maybe that's the response.
I always wonder that.
Yeah, I've had people that just don't reply, or soon, or I had
sure, dude.
This
never show up.
Chuck Adams told me he was too busy to do it and to follow up the following year. Yeah, I was like, it was like May. I was like, okay,
so coming 2024,
and I was dying to have him on. Yeah. Obviously he's the GOAT, a legend,
for sure.
And I was just curious to pick his brain, but and then I thought, well, he might not be overly comfortable with this medium and platform. Not trying to talk crap about the guy because he is a legend.
That's a good example though. Like that's like a different realm for somebody like that.
Oh, for sure.
In a traditional, I don't even know what you call it, like content and media, like books and writing and stuff.
I mean, we even saw that with Mark and Terry in the early days of the podcast, being used to being so very formal in front of the camera,
not being themselves really,
and the podcast and just social media in general is so much more like you're bringing people inside. And they're getting to see a different angle.
Dad's
I can see that
opened up pretty well for us. He's pretty much who he is for the most part. He's fun to have on. Mark's still pretty. I mean, he's definitely toned that part of it down, but he's still pretty much on point and topic driven and making sure he's bringing good information and stuff like that, which is fine too. But they both have that fun personality in in the bar setting, and
it's pulling it out of them.
That's what I always want.
It's a challenge too as a host, like. But think about how long they've been doing that like TV host style. It's almost kind of it's ingrained in them. It's
you'd
tough.
have to. Yesterday I had to go through my computer system, looking for longtime team members of ours that went away that are kind of coming back. Yeah. And I was going back, just doing some homework, looking at some of the original content. Yeah. And I came across this video of Mark and Terry from King of the Spring. Yeah. And I sat there and watched it. It was just their intro. And it's just like, man, we come a long way from this style. And I remember filming that stuff with them, like just watching them film. I was, 8 or whatever. And it would be them trying to do one take, memorize their script, like over and over. At some point had cue cards and, that type of thing. And to watch these guys now, they'll sit down, when we have interviews for like 13, and these guys can all, they don't come in here much anymore. They do them at the farms and stuff. But used to be they'd come in here to shoot all their interviews. And these guys would be able to see, like, they sit down and the lights turn on, the camera hits record, and they're on. It's not like, give me another take and I need to, I stumbled stumbled over my
Just
words.
motoring through them.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's impressive.
That is cool.
The information that they spit out, it's really seamless, really effortless for them.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch.
Which kind of gets to your point of, pretty quickly the people who know what they're talking about and then those who don't.
Yeah, and I thought I'd run into it more really, but I guess we just know who we want to talk to.
Yeah, you're bringing on people that we try to as well that you want to talk to.
Yeah, and so it's different. But I will tell you this, man. I've been trying to challenge myself to have guests on, and no offense to any of these people listening, but like guests that I necessarily don't want to interview, like trying to force myself to like maybe just see what they're like.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of where I'm like, I don't even want to do this, but I'm like, I just make myself do it. And so far it's ended up good, like better than I thought type thing.
Yeah.
I got one I'm working on, and I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll talk about that later.
Is that you trying to get Matt?
I'm trying to get Matt, you guys up to the studio and really cut
This
into
is a case in point. People I don't want to talk to, but I'm going to try.
I don't blame him.
It's tough.
Yeah,
There's just going to be beer and Casey's Pizza in the studio for dinner, so you have to figure it out, Tim.
Yeah, that's tough. The guys that were supposed to come in for the podcast yesterday, they apologized. They had something health related. They couldn't do it. And I was like, hey, don't worry. They're like, we'll try to jump on in a few months. I'm like, well, we'll still be doing it. We have to do one a week.
Yeah.
Get to do one a week.
Get to do one a week. It never ends.
We have a policy at the studio, unless it's for a legit reason. Health reason's different.
Yeah.
But like, we're busy. I try to book out now to get ahead. But if you cancel and it's just because you just didn't prioritize it, I'll never get you back.
You're out.
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't mean to be like aggressive about it, but
your time's valuable too, man.
we're just trying to do stuff,
Yeah.
So,
and now it's your livelihood.
yeah. It's like, all right, I'll find somebody else.
So now they're messing with your cheddar.
Yeah, I got to feed my kids, man.
That's right.
Cutting me out of some meals.
Yeah.
So my kids got to skip lunch for like 3 days.
So the guest part, how do you guys, that's the struggle. It can be exhausting to continually come up with guests and new guests and topics. And it's like, we talked about it before we got on the air here, how this period of time, like June, is brutal for views, listens, it's just the interest is not there yet.
Yeah.
And so it's like turkey season's over, like spring stuff's over. You had the bear hunt and all that, but right now is a shitty time to be talking about the outdoors.
Podcasters, especially new podcasters, are getting their feelings hurt in this time period. You just don't look at the numbers, man.
We've been doing it for 3 years, and it can still hurt your feelings at this time of year.
It humbles you every year. Your baseline gets better, but you see it's just. Yeah.
I looked at our numbers the other day because we get the email from that website come through, and I looked at them. It's like, shit, that's half of what we normally do. It's just and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
Have the best guest in the world. It's going to give you a little bump, but not much.
I don't stress out over it. I really don't even look until I get asked by somebody that needs to know.
Sure.
I think it's just better. And like finding guests, like going back to that a little bit, we only talk to people that we find interesting or a topic or like something controversial that's interesting. We're not doing stuff to ride trends. And I feel like that's where some shows do. Like they just go after what's trendy, not what actually interests them. And I feel like that's just the longevity of your show is not there.
So we should probably cancel that corn kid from.
It's corn.
Yeah.
that kid'd actually be pretty cool to have around. Just a hype guy in the back. Have him run the iPad.
We need a hype man.
Do you need his soundbite on there?
We could have my daughter in, but I had to bring. So Monday was Juneteenth, and so the kids are in summer school, and they didn't have school that day, and so I had to bring them in because my wife works, and so. They came in and we turned this soundboard on, and man, I had to literally like physically hold my daughter back from hitting the buttons.
Reaching over.
She kept hitting. We got one. Well, here. Scott! And they love Scott.
Yeah.
And so they kept hitting it, and she was going. So we got a series of. She could be our soundboard person.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
just randomly hitting.
I am fully in support of child labor.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Bring her.
I worked at a young age.
Ever sew up some soccer balls?
I was just told recently that you can't work until, is it 15 or so?
No.
In Missouri, like.
I detasseled way younger than that. I feel like.
I think 12 is like you can if you have to get a disposition to work, but I think at 12 you can actually.
Maybe this is just on certain jobs because it was a construction field, so maybe it was certain.
Did you guys detassel corn growing up?
A lot of my friends did.
Baled hay.
Yeah, well, that's tough work.
That sucked.
I think I did tassel. I was, younger than 15 for sure.
Oh, I started working for Dad in 8th grade.
Yeah.
In his construction company.
Yeah.
Worked for him through sophomore year of college, and then started working for this side of the company, in college. And
that's tough. I have a job like that in 8th grade.
I was worthless.
but
it's like, hey, go sweep the street.
It's the mindset it was building for yourself, though. That's what
I'm very thankful for it now, but it was also a realization that I didn't have that skill set. Like some people are just naturally good at certain things, and that was not a skill set that
It's not mine either.
It's like
my dad was a carpenter, and every now and again he would have me come along on side jobs.
Yeah,
and I'd earn maybe $50 a day, but I'd realize he does this all day, every day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes on the weekends. It's as fun to go out on a Saturday and help someone build a deck around their pool.
Yeah,
but I can't imagine doing this all the time.
No, I've always. That's something I think I'd want to do, like be a carpenter, or like a tuck pointer or something like that with bricks. Like those trades are always like so interesting to me.
All the trades. I mean, to be able to have any of that. I have a friend from high school that is in trades, and he owns his own company now. And I remember one time where we're drinking at a bar, me and all of our buddies, and we're hanging out, and he's like, "Oh, you guys get I'm doing backbreaking work for XYZ money, and you guys get to sit in an air conditioned office." And I was like, I looked at him, I'm go, but I don't know how to do any of the things that any practical thing that isn't attached to a computer.
Did you tell him how bad your elbow hurts from time to time too?
Yeah,
arthritis from typing.
That's right. I won't be able to grab a pen in my 60s, bud.
My grip strength is significantly lower now, sir.
But you got to look at it like everybody's got a certain skill set, right?
Yep.
And he wouldn't be able to do what I do, and I certainly can't do what he does. And it doesn't mean anybody's job's any less important, but I would love to have his skill set, and I'm sure there's parts of mine that he would like to have too. But but that's why you got to have the trades, man.
You got to have them, man. And I love it. Like, going from John Deere to, I don't even want to call myself a podcaster. It's like, is that derogatory?
Kind of douchey.
It's douchey, yeah. It's like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm in digital marketing, just to avoid the conversation.
How about a creator?
See, that's
content creator, also douchey.
Very douchey. Yeah, all year on the TikToks, it's like, nah, I don't even know. I avoid, some people you run into, like, hey, what do you do for a living? Especially like if I'm with my wife meeting, like, I don't know, example,
real
like
people?
her work friends and her husband's like, oh, what do you do? I'm a whatever. And it's like, oh, yeah, I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, I podcast. It's like, what? It's too many questions.
Oh, so you support your husband.
yeah, it's me. Yeah, I'm a gamer. No, I'm in digital marketing. It's just an easy way to avoid the conversation.
Yeah,
I
hear you. I mean, my wife is a surgical tech, so every Christmas they'll have those, Christmas parties.
Yeah,
and it's all doctors, and she's introducing me to people, and they're like, "So what do you do?" And it's like, we produce outdoor hunting content. I usually start with, we produce content that airs on television. Oh yeah, what network? Outdoor channel, sportsman's channel.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? And I'm like,
what's your
we
full-time
produce,
job?
We kill stuff for it. It always ends up we kill deer and turkey for a living.
Yeah, you get frustrated. You're just like, do we shoot stuff in video? Man, that's don't mess with me, okay? I'm tired of talking.
Oh, really? That's fascinating. And then it's like, we have 4.2 million subscribers across all of our social platforms.
Yeah,
it's like, really? It's like, yeah, all right. So
okay. Yeah, you see them perk up a little. They're like looking down on you. Yeah. Okay, lateral. Oh, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
And mine's always like, oh, you're a podcaster and your hands are tattooed? You're a bum. I'm like, yeah.
It's up your neck. It's one step away from cheek.
I'm going to commit, Post Malone's doing all right.
How do you qualify for a tear tattoo?
You got to kill a guy.
A teardrop tattoo.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Okay. I'm out.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get one.
You will not have
Just go get one. See what happens.
Well, I mean, if I got to kill someone, I got to kill someone. I don't want to be a poser.
You should do 2 teardrops, one out of each side, like you're just crying like a big baby.
Okay.
DeerCast tattoo.
What a regular
right here.
size baby.
DeerCast.
DeerCast.
Scott said, he just left. Scott's been saying for years that he's going to get a DeerCast tattoo.
I'll get one. I will do it.
He said he's going to get one because he's got, I think he had one from the last place that he worked. And
what if he had one for every place he's worked? He's like the lawn care service.
Well, I'll go on record. I hope if he gets a DeerCast one, it's the last one he ever gets because Scott's the man.
We got to keep him.
We're keeping
100%.
We'll sign an agreement. He'll get that. You increase his salary a little bit for putting the brand on him. I'm trying to help that
I'll pay
guy.
for the tattoo.
What if we owned that portion of him?
I could cut it off.
Like a parcel.
Yeah, like people own like a square inch on the moon or something.
Well, do you guys have any like listeners or followers of Drury Outdoors or DeerCast or anything that have it?
Yes. Yeah, that have tattooed?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Drury Outdoors. We've had, and I don't have many more, but through the years, especially like those, I'd say the late 2000s when TV was huge.
Yeah.
And early like up through 2012, 2013, TV was really, really big. And when we came out with 13, like it was, we had a great response.
For sure.
And so during that period, there was a couple different people that sent in tattoos that they got artwork.
That's cool.
The Drury at the time, it would have been the Drury Outdoor Shield.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
No, that's cool. We have a few.
Nothing like a bone collector or working class.
We do have there are quite a few people actually. I had to tally up how many. I'd say 10 at least.
Yeah.
That have WCB tattoos,
That's
which
cool.
is cool. Some pretty cool ones too. It's just the logo,
Any hot chicks?
Well, it's a cool logo.
A couple of like, maybe tramp stamps.
Tramp
some people
stamps.
call them.
Okay.
You have guys. You got guys, big fat
Yeah.
guys with
Check it
I had
out.
to shave my back to get this, man.
It's like
they're at that
nice.
shoot of yours and everybody's showing off their tramp stamp.
Yeah. Everyone's got belly shirts on.
They're bending over
That's
to get their
even better
arrows
than
out of the
tramp
target.
stamp is
On their belly?
a belly big tattoo right on their belly
Oh
button.
man, no. I mean, a lot of it's like shins, a couple arm tattoos. I had to get it done. If listeners will get it done, I'm going to get mine done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We need to get a listener that will do like your face and my face, each with a microphone,
No.
and like kind of on an angle, like a Three Stooges logo.
I need one of you eating a slice of Casey's pizza. Just with that
Or
mic.
if you go to that post in the rack pack to see the other things that people put in his hand.
Oh, like cropping it in there? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. I'll have to go back and
Alan's
read
got
the
some of
comments.
the best, but he didn't put them in the post.
I
They were
think
too
Ben was gonna
mean-spirited.
Okay,
Ben was
okay.
gonna apologize for
I don't think
doing
he
that
was.
earlier. He mentioned a
sleeping.
handwritten note of apology.
But Ben's was weak. He just put a cupcake. Like they've been using that AI Photoshop.
Oh, geez, that's dangerous.
Have you messed
No.
with that? So Photoshop
I don't even know where to
hasn't-
find AI anything.
Well, so
Where is it?
Photoshop has
Isn't
a
it?
part of the program now that has an AI
in
filter.
the actual Photoshop.
Yeah,
thing.
so you could type in and erase things and put things
Ooh.
in, and it's pretty unbelievable.
You have
And
to show
so
me this after.
It erased the pizza, and then he put a cupcake in Tim's hand.
No way.
I would have been. I mean, Ben's a nice guy, so
Nice
it's
enough.
a cupcake.
So can you do like a 130-inch buck to like a 180-inch buck?
I
with
mean,
the AI?
you know what? I think that's something seriously people need to start looking closely about.
Yeah, is this
forward.
buck AI?
Is it legit? Yeah.
Mitch Rompla, that's AI.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Before that was even a
Trying to make this
70s or whatever
episode do
it
bigger
was.
numbers.
Thanks, Kurt.
There's a title. Mitch Rompla is AI.
Accused of AI.
Not the deer, the guy.
Yeah, the guy. He never existed.
So we've got this week's Real Wild clip has been circulating already. People may have already seen it, but it kind of has special significance because it deals with deer and snakes, two things that Matt Drury really enjoys.
Okay.
Okay. No.
Nice.
Good.
What's your favorite snake?
None.
Oh.
Dead.
Dead.
I know you're not supposed to kill black snakes, and I know they kill copperheads and this and that and the other. I am so afraid of snakes.
Really?
I just like some sort of jacked up thing inside my head that makes me my kids
That's
mess
not
with
uncommon,
me.
man. I feel like that's normal.
But I'm not afraid of anything else. That is the one thing I'm afraid
Spiders?
of. No, could care less.
Oh, I'm not a spider fan.
I could care less about anything else. That one thing freaks me.
Clowns.
No, could care less. Although I will say, when I was young, it was on TV for some weird reason. Was on regular TV.
Yeah.
And my mom
It was
and
like
I
a miniseries fashion.
Yes, and we watched it. I don't know why she let me watch it, and it was years I was afraid of that clown coming out of the shower.
And sewer
'Cause-
grates.
Well, you remember Chucky? They used to play Chucky
Yeah.
the same way, and I was little watching Chucky, and my dad was like,
It's a toy.
"Yeah, I'd never let my kids watch
No,
Chucky." You know?
no, horrible parents.
Yeah, it's like,
like,
we turned out okay.
well, did we?
I got a neck tattoo, so
Yeah,
probably
I was
not.
gonna say, like, you're contemplating
I'm a
tattoos on your
podcaster.
face,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm like, I'll get a
You're a
DeerCast
podcaster.
tattoo. Yeah, dude.
Easily suggestible.
You're a bum. You did not turn out okay. Oh gosh. All right. Sorry, I distracted you from the clip.
That's all right.
All right. So yeah, let's check out this Real Wild clip.
Wait. It was brought to you by Silencer Central. Silencer Central.
Good dudes over there.
Oh yeah, great.
Ugh.
It's over my shoulder.
This doe is next to a fence and it's gnawing on the back end of a snake.
Give me the freaking heebie-jeebies.
And you can tell it, like, obviously it's an herbivore. It uses those rear molars to chew. like a blade of grass. It's trying to eat this thing like a blade of grass.
Look at its tongue just going.
What caused this?
I'd say that snake really must have made that deer mad.
Yeah, or it's deficient in protein.
Oh my gosh.
Is that a button buck? What am I looking at?
So, all right, I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to distract from the whole snake eating thing. So I have trail cam pictures on my farm of does that have buttons like that. And I shot one, and they're bump. They're not like buttons like a button buck. They're just bumps like on the skull. And I don't know.
Maybe it's like dudes have nipples, but they serve no purpose.
Same thing, I guess.
The deer cannot get it down.
I don't know, man. That's wild.
Like
I'd be interested in
long
what
piece
happened.
of jerky.
Did he end up getting it all down, or did?
Yeah, like where is this?
I don't know.
That looks like Texas.
Ugh.
I don't know what they got going on in Texas.
Well, that's wild, everybody.
Yeah, that's your real wild clip
Real
of the
wild
week.
clip.
That is wild. Wild indeed.
This is the kind of fun and shenanigans you get into here.
Dude, I
Little
love
Curtis.
it. I love it. Little Kurt.
Little Kurt, sorry. Kurt's going to hit me.
I do like this. It's fun.
Well, let's keep the helpful train rolling and help our buddy Jack, who has a question about non-resident deer tags.
All right, so the question of the day is probably brought to you by Cold Steel, professional hunting knives for real hunters. Snag the click and cut hunting kit this summer. And from filleting fish to skinning squirrels, swap in the right blade for any season. This seems like something
Killing snakes.
Tim typed up. Killing snake. No, that blade's like 2 inches long. I would need a much longer blade
For
to
men
kill
that want to kill snakes.
I use my click and cut.
Sorry.
I use my click and cut to open up the pack of bottled water that I got for us this morning.
Speaking of real men,
Nice.
It was fizzy water. No,
Yeah.
I touched
you
one
cut
of the
through it.
bottles.
Yeah,
I
encountered
just touched
that
it
bottle
with
of
a
water.
knife.
It's like, why
You
is
fell
this
for
bottle over here not in the sink, next to the sink? I pick it up and it starts freaking water's flying everywhere. I'm like, what
bland.
a-hole?
That's the
Cut
oldest
this
prank in the
and
book.
then put it next to the sink, but
old-
not in the sink.
The old cut water bottle.
I just
trick.
found the a-hole.
Nice.
I don't think so, Tim.
Here, you might like this, Kurt.
Oh, yeah.
You know where that's from?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of South Park. They're always pushing. They're uncancelable.
They are.
Yep, because they hit everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Harsh.
All right, so let's see what old Jack Pruitt's got to say.
How do you feel about out-of-state hunters being able to buy a tag over the counter versus a draw-in in Missouri?
So that is a great question. And I guarantee you my answer is not the right answer. But I personally feel like it should be a fair system where whatever the state like you're living in, whatever it is, like it should be across the board. If you got to pay, like go to Illinois and spend $400 to get a dang tag and a license and a stamp,
Yeah.
you know, then hey, maybe yours should be $400 here in Missouri, or
For a resident.
for a non-resident from Illinois,
Yep.
then to come into Missouri, like a tit for tat.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reciprocal.
Yeah.
Kind of giving.
Iowa, hey, wait 5 years, bud.
Yeah. Giving you a taste of your own resident medicine.
Of course, if you live in Iowa, you're not really coming to Missouri anyways, unless you've killed out up there.
So is this a new thing that happened for Missouri, or is it just like in general?
No, he's just saying, no, it's
general.
easy. Like right now, it's just over the counter and it's a standard price. It's $175 or
That's cheap.
$200 something dollars
Compared to Illinois.
for an over the. I'm screwing that up, I'm sure, but it's relatively cheap.
Way,
It is
way
cheap.
cheaper than going
At
to
the
Illinois.
very least, it should be more expensive. At the very least,
I think so.
because I mean, I'm glad that we have the resource, but a lot of out-of-staters come in for gun season.
Oh, yeah.
And shoot that shit out of everything, and it's
We talk about this because in Illinois you can do the same thing. You can come in buy an archery, either sex tag, a buck tag, and I've said probably some stuff like what I was saying. Like I don't always believe in it, but it's food for thought. It's like I wish Illinois was a draw. I think if Illinois was set up like Iowa for non-residents, no one would think about Iowa.
Well, it's a draw for the firearms, and
Yeah.
kind of. You always
get
get
it.
drawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird system. Illinois to get those tags, and I've gotten them. I always get them. I always have. Like that's where I killed my first deer. It's a pain in the butt, and it's complicated. It's not complicated, but it is. It's like, did I get the right?
It's almost
thing?
designed to set you up,
Yeah.
so they can write you a ticket.
Yeah, it's like, did I get? And so what I get is just everything. It's like, do you
buy it
need
all.
this? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to help
Collect
tip?
minnows and
It's like,
sell them.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, I'll throw a tip on. Yeah,
yeah.
Get all your stamps. Yeah, get
Yeah, like
everything.
I don't know what I need. I think I can read the regs. I can read, despite what
I can't read.
I can, but it's confusing.
Yeah, it is, and I've never hunted Missouri, But, hunting other states, it's like, okay, it's telling me what I need, but this one's like an option. Well, if I need it, just tell me I need it. Include it in what I buy when I buy it.
there's no option not to get what you need.
Yeah, you're setting me up to fail.
Yeah.
I can barely read. Yeah, like you're doing this. It's like Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't know what he's saying.
So
Can't read.
I know the reasons why, but wouldn't it be a lot more simple if there was one set standard across the country for at least the same species?
Yeah. Or close.
Matt Drury, a fan of big government.
Well, I get it. I said I understand why you don't, and it's each system's different. Or whatever,
every state agency website is awful. Well, from what I've dealt with,
you know what?
Ohio's is pretty good.
Missouri's Department of Conservation, like we are a model here.
The MDC has an app that it makes it supremely easy. So like it is very easy, and I always wonder. Like I know Kansas has an app; theirs isn't bad.
Ohio's is good. I just turkey hunted there.
Iowa to me is a tough one. Like every time I go to try to get points, I'm like, did I get the points? What did I get?
You buy the right thing or not?
Where am I?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Illinois can be confusing. To me, Illinois is the worst of any of the ones that I've been to so far. Illinois is the worst website.
Dude, all we got for us is deer hunting. That's it. That's all we got.
I just went and bought my Illinois non-resident yearly fishing license, and it was booger to get through on the mobile version of the website.
Well, I don't even have the mobile version. I just go on, but they just updated everything on like purchasing and stuff. So it's a little better than it was, but it's not great. They need to do an app would be great. Like a good, like, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Missouri's, but Ohio's app I was like, whoa, this is nice and easy.
Yeah.
So, Missouri's is cool because you can, when you log into it, you can see everything you've ever killed.
See,
like,
I was wondering if I could
shortlisted.
find that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
The other nice thing, and this is not a plug for the Missouri Conservation app, but when my daughter hunts with me, I can log in as her and I can telecheck on my device for her while we're out in the field.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like telechecks, it goes through. No, there's not a ton, but it goes all the way back to 2006. Cool. So it doesn't have the first few years.
Still, that's cool.
But like back to 2006, it has.
It actually shows what you reported, like adult gobbler.
Yep, doe, adult gobbler, antler buck, adult gobbler,
house
antler
cat.
buck.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, doe. So. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's neat to go back and look at that.
Yeah, Illinois needs to get together. We brought that up on a podcast. I tried to look up like, just check in history, and I can see some of them, but I can't tell what it is. So I don't know if they're working on it or not, but I don't see it happening with Illinois. But maybe be cool.
Let's jump into the wildlife word, boys. It's brought to you by Tenzing Premium Hunting Packs. Go further, hunt longer with Tenzing. Load up the lightweight and highly mobile pace or sling packs for running around, dropping off trail cameras and check-in stands this summer.
So one of the cool parts about working in the quote-unquote industry is you get the stuff before it hits the shelves,
Yeah.
So we got 4 new Tenzing packs, like different sizes.
Yeah.
They're pretty nice. I like them.
Yeah, I like them too.
Being on the in crowd over here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really impresses people.
All right, so this is the part of the show where Tim tries to make us look stupid.
Okay.
Little Curt.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Okay. Here's the question. If a whitetail has extra legs growing out of its back,
oh boy,
this probably happened. A spider was accidentally involved in the breeding process.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
B, there was a parasitic twin in utero.
B.
C, the deer lived in an area with high levels of ionizing radiation.
Makes sense too.
That does make
D,
a lot of sense.
The deer was the subject of a failed experiment.
Well, we always let our guests go first, Curt.
It's pretty probable. I'm going to go C. The deer lived in an area with high levels of ionizing radiation.
Yep.
Go with the obvious.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there.
Duh.
I was going to say B, but maybe it is C. I can be easily convinced as I look over my shoulder.
You're like, what'd you put? What'd you
He went
put?
with C.
Old
Okay,
habits
C it
die
is.
hard,
Yep,
huh?
I'm going with
He
that.
seems smart.
Seen it 1,000 times.
So this can actually happen with people also. But if there are twins in utero and one is not strong enough to survive, it will oftentimes be absorbed by the other fetus. And sometimes
my second guess.
remnants of the other fetus's body will remain like fused to that growing.
Basically, it's like you ate your brother or your sister.
Yes.
And now you have the power for 1.5 or 1 3/4 person
Yes.
in your body.
What a bummer.
There was a guy I don't know, like 100 some years ago, there's documentation of this. I don't remember his name, but he had parts of the face of an in utero twin sticking out of the back of his head.
Did it grow old too, or is it always a baby?
Well, it was just like,
that's a legitimate question.
It was just like a mouth. And,
do you have to feed it?
And maybe part of a nose. It wasn't a full face, but it would like move.
I'd wear like, Joe Dirt, and he's like, my mom put this wig on me. It came all entwined and infused.
Yeah.
I would just put on a big wig or something. That's messed up. Well, that was my second guess. C seemed the most possible at the time.
But B could have been a byproduct of C. If you think about it.
There should have been the answers at the bottom.
You're right. You're both right. You guys, you both win.
E.
Yeah,
yes.
Dude, there was a Scantron I could have probably.
ACDC.
Yeah.
I just got to pass this thing.
Dang it.
Yeah, it's gross. There are some pictures floating around on the internet of like a deer with deformed legs sticking out of its back.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Would you shoot a deer like that?
You'd have to.
I think so.
You're doing it a favor.
Yeah.
What if it had 2 heads and you only have 1 tag?
If it's one body, it's one deer.
Yeah. Tim.
Okay.
Which leg do I put this on?
Okay, let me ask you this.
You can have 2 doe tags and tag it twice.
Well, if a buck has 2 heads and 2 sets of antlers, 2 racks, if he's two 140-inch racks, is he?
That's one deer, one body.
In my book, that's a 280, and I'm shooting it.
Is your math right?
Each side is a 140.
Oh, your math was
I thought
right.
about it too. I was like,
wait a minute.
Yeah,
Let me get the abacus out.
He seems smarter than me. Yeah, that's probably right.
Seem is the operative word.
He definitely will tell you he is.
Oh yeah, you're putting off.
You gotta let people know.
Tim tends to put off better than you type vibes.
Thank you.
It's a shame Alan's not here. He'd be shaking his head.
Alan's really impressed.
I'm hurt by this Casey's Pizza thing, so I'm just kind of like passive aggressively
jabbing at him.
Sure,
I've been doing. How many episodes have you been on the podcast now?
13.
So I've been doing it for 13 at least.
Good run.
So what we do, like 20 something with Kenyon first?
No, there was 60 some when I hopped on.
I had 60 something with Kenyon, and then
maybe 290.
He went to Meat Eater, and then that's about the same time you came on. You came on a little before he left.
There was a transition. We had to let the audience down softly.
Yeah.
This person is leaving.
You guys are kind of like the same person.
Exactly. Only without the dirt mustache.
You don't have as great a rosy red cheeks as Mark
I'm out
does.
of this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you've always said you've appreciated his rosacea cheeks.
His looks.
Yeah.
I never met. Well, actually,
Mark's
I did.
a good guy. I know he gets a lot of shit. He's a good guy.
I met him at Jackson Hole Airport on the way to bear hunt. Actually, one time because he was on the same plane. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He was great. He was nice.
Always been good to work with. I've enjoyed him, but I know he gets a lot of crap. And I feel for him because what he's tasked to do at Meat Eater, that's a lot of content to have to turn.
I don't know what he does. I don't really, from my perspective, I don't think he gets a lot of crap. Maybe he does on
Working Class page. He
probably does. Anybody like Meat Eater kind of gets a bad rap with and that's our page. So I'm not putting that on there.
Yeah.
But when I met him, he was great.
Yeah,
he was nice.
Yeah.
Well, and also like one of the godfathers of the hunting podcast.
Oh, for sure. I'd say
the.
Yeah. I mean, I don't recall a lot of hunting podcasts before Wired to Hunt.
Not big, not like mainstream big.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know what gave him away? He had. I saw him. He was sitting like a few rows in front of me on the plane, and I saw he held his phone up. He was looking at some maps. I could see some like waypoints, and I'm like, "Oh, that guy's a hunter." And then when he got off, I'm like, "I think that's Mark Kenyon." And I just like went up to him. And I'd never met him. I'm like, "Hey, Mark," and he's like, "Oh yeah." And I just, I thought I knew what he looked like, but I didn't. He was
different person.
He was really cool.
Yeah, I'm going on record. I'm a Mark Kenyon fan. I don't know much about Meat Eater and their stuff, what they got going on. I mean, I know the kind of the why people dog Meat Eater. I get some of that, but they're doing more good than they are bad. They're a net positive, I'd say. I mean, maybe. Is that debatable?
Yeah, I think it is.
What's the debate?
Well, I don't know. I'm for the record, I am a fan of Steve Rinella.
Yeah,
and I don't have anything against Mark Kenyon, but I think there's some questionable stuff. We've had this debate on our podcast, but it's like, man, that amount of money rolls in. It's like life changing. It's like generational money they got offered. So like
Same
fair
here.
buyout. Right here, that's what this is. Generational.
Yeah.
I gotta talk about my
As long as
contract.
your generation ends with you.
Leaving my kids a cool 5
good.
figures. So.
But I think I don't know. We can get into this. It's a whole other
The
podcast.
churning or
but
whatever.
yeah,
they call that.
and I don't know how much like truth is on what end, but it's like
Well, you often wonder, okay, so they're owned by this group, and this guy who owns that, and it's his name or whatever, he donates to the Democratic side of the
It's
political
tough.
party. Okay, but is he coming in there and saying, you guys have to promote X, Y, Z, and this is going to further my agenda?
I don't know, man.
Typically, I mean, it's just an investment. The guy might turn around and sell it tomorrow.
money's money wherever
It's
he's at.
money.
Well, same thing. I think they own Barstool Sports as well.
They do.
But what I've seen is like some, and I don't know. What I've seen on social media is like some of the not Steve Ranella, but some of the guys in that crew like kind of like bashing people in our hunting community that voted for Trump and supported Trump stuff. So
Now I do see a little, because it's, that West Coast kind of Western vibe is definitely a different vibe than what we have going on.
it's different.
And so I get that, because their hunting style is different. They're, when they're talking about shed hunting, they're talking about going over a bunch of public ground, 20, 30,000 acres and looking for elk. It's just a different, we don't relate with what they do, and they don't relate with what we do.
No. And so that being said, I'm like neutral ground. Like, I want that show to do good. I want everybody on there to make a living and do good. But I'm just saying there's a lot of questionable stuff. Like, I think that could make some great conversation. But but I'm not going to die on any sword with that. It's like, I'm all kind of over
What
it
I
anyway.
find interesting, though, is like when you go to like this, we were talking about this website that you turned us on to for the podcasting industry. It kind of gives you a ranking, all that. all their shows are like top 10 every week.
Yeah.
And some of them are not, great shows. And you're like, how the hell, something, I know iHeartRadio is like affiliated with them, and the sales and used to be. And so it's like, you wonder what kind of.
You do wonder. I will tell you this, any podcast ranking or external source that like calculates what your numbers are, to whatever I've seen, it doesn't match up to what my side of things is showing me.
We see it too.
So I don't trust any of it. I don't think anybody really knows how it works.
The crappy part is if you are in tune with it in the industry, and like, so if you're a sponsor or whatever, and you want to look to see who's hot and who's not, and you go to that list and you're like, oh, their podcast. I had somebody tell me, he's like, I'm surprised yours doesn't rank higher all the time. It's like, hell no. I mean, during the fall, it does well. We're in, the top 50 or 60 or whatever. Sometimes great guest, good week. 20, 30. You guys are always top 10 to 15.
Yeah,
to 20.
right now, if you like, I looked and it's like I was saying hurt feelings right now. I was like, we're in the 30s. That's the lowest we've ever been. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
That'd be a good day for us.
But it's all. I think there's probably some truth to it. I mean, certainly.
I think it's,
but we look at the numbers and know that, because I'll be like, is this right? And he's like, no, this is, if you go to the individual platforms, these were the numbers.
Well, I think it only pulls from Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Well, I think that changed too.
Oh, did it change? It's Spotify now?
Yeah.
But I think it's a trending thing, like how hot and a spike.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
because when we got the most promotion, so if, say, for instance, our own company promotes the show actually, and then we promote it and our guest promotes it, and say a couple of our viewers, all of a sudden I will see it rise up the ranks.
Yeah.
But if it's just Tim and myself, or just Tim, or we don't, it's not
Surprising as that may be.
What tipped me off to that is I have some good buddies have a podcast that we're on, and they came to our studio. They're from the East Coast, great dudes. But they're
Is it Eats Meets West? Or?
no, he's a good Bo is a good dude, but I just don't want to say their name because I don't want to like embarrass them with this. But their show, they did our show, we did their show, and we launched them the same week. And they're normally like not in the top 100 on that chart thing, and they were top 20 for like 3 days, and that dropped off. So I was like, this has to be like a trending thing.
That's a good point, because during turkey season, there were a couple like turkey related podcasts, or just turkey podcasts, and they were ranked real high, and they only have like 6 episodes or whatever. I'm like, how in the GD is this even possible? Like,
it's got to be a trending like spike or like an.
But I was seeing the promotion of it on social media a lot, like a lot of like, hey, this is great, listen this week. And so I totally think, but if you think about it, the more promotion you see, the more people are gonna go click the link and listen to the show. And so,
and that's why I think like clips and stuff like pay off. But I want real quick, I want to see if you guys think about the same way. I don't know if we're running out of time or not, but the podcast realm, I categorize hunting podcasts in 2 categories. and we get lumped all into
Wilderness.
which is a bummer because you got the granola podcast, you got finding Bigfoot podcast, kayaking.
I wish there was a hunting, but that'll never happen.
It'll never happen, but maybe it will. Maybe we control that.
That Bigfoot kayaking podcast genre is getting bigger.
Bigfoot kayaking, together. That's a collab.
What more could you want?
That's what it sounded like when I
saw
said
him in
that.
a perceptions design going down to class 3. It was incredible.
Well, I categorize hunting podcasts into 2 categories. People who started as a hunting podcast and pioneered as a hunting podcast and are a hunting podcast. Everyone that was like, oh, yeah, we should do a podcast.
Yeah.
So I wish that would have it categorized different, because if you did everyone that started as a podcast and their mission was a podcast in that chart, how many people would be on that chart?
It'd be a small
Pretty
number.
small.
It'd be a small number. And then everyone else is kind of like, well, we already have, no offense, guys, but like there's other brands, like we already have this big name. We can just start a podcast and it'll already be way up more to speed than everyone who started as the podcast.
Although you have to freaking be like consistent, and
it's a lot of work. Because
I know there's some bigger names out there that do have podcasts, and it's just like a handful of one every other month or one a month, and it's just like, man, if this person, whoever XYZ it was, did one a week, holy shit, they'd have the highest numbers. You know what I mean? But it's a time suck. Guys like us who are in a studio, or guys like you who it's your profession now. It's like you got the time. But some of these other people, it's like, hey, I'm in the office today, or let's go ahead and shoot a podcast.
People don't realize like the amount of time you just have to commit to it. To be consistent. And even us, like, even though it's what we do, like we're starting to get pulled more directions from like, just partnership stuff and just responsibilities. It's like, oh, we got to schedule a show, so. Yeah.
All right. Tim, what's left?
We got shout outs and we got new rack packers to welcome. So the H-Man TV gave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, which we love. Thank you. If you haven't rated the podcast, do it. Otherwise, you're stealing from us and our children.
I'm going to eat lunch for
He
like a
says episode
other than today.
Episode 325. Love listening to the podcast. It always feels like I'm sitting around talking to my friends about random stuff. Keep up the good work.
Got the random part right. We hit a bunch of random stuff today.
That's what makes it fun, man.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, so what's left? We got the Rack Pack members every week. Tim types out a bunch of names. Rack Pack's over on Facebook group. So go search the Drury Outdoors Rack Pack. And every name, he puts a bunch of names. Every week he puts a bunch of names in here. I read them off. I screw up people's names. And every week there's somebody's name in here that's fake. Now,
this is fun.
This week, I know a lot of these names because Tim put a post up that he wanted to get to 2,000 people in the Rack Pack. And we're like at 180 or 1,800 something, 850 or were. I was like, all right, I'm going to go through my friends list, and I got a couple jokers from back home that I know listen to this and that. So most of these people are my friends.
Okay.
So this isn't fair. This isn't
Are
a
you
fair
bragging?
week. Well,
pretty much know all these people.
There's only a handful of names here.
All hometown guys that I'm better than now.
Pretty big deal.
No, that's definitely not the case. They have skills I don't. We went over this
Okay,
already.
those are those guys. Yeah, no. Good save.
Ryan Lively, Eric Davis, the baseball player, Casey P. Suze.
So,
Suze?
I thought that was the fake one.
Casey P. Suze.
I call it Suz. Like,
I keep reading it until it sounds like something like.
That's the way you do it. You sound it out. It's like
Adam
phonics.
Cummings, Luke Schwint, Tony Pagrelis.
a cool
good
name.
guy. Eric Boothen, Booty, Kelly Turner, Bryson Thornton. So these are all of our team members who don't participate in the Rack Pack.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Justin Manning, I went on a hunt with him in Nebraska. Ken Walker, cousin. Steve France, team member. Waylon Brace, cousin. Brady Murphy. Murphy. I think that Casey P. Suze is the fake name, but I don't know what the way it's supposed to be.
Man, Curt was on the right.
Casey Pizzas. Casey's Pizzas.
Yeah, you got it.
That's pretty good. I got to give you that because that was way over my head.
See, you sounded out.
You are smarter than us.
We win.
Oh, hey, we got food. Bring that food in here. What do we got?
Oh, jeez.
Redbeard here.
Whoa.
This is a prank.
Where are the popcorn?
There's going to be like habanero powder on this.
Turbolax in there.
Huh? Get this shit out of here. This is none of the good. This is none of the good stuff.
Yeah. So this is a prank. There's going to be
I mean, that's pretty good, but Where are the poppers? Where's the ribs? Where's the wings?
Where's the beef?
It's the pork.
I love this. I love this production set. Just like people mingling around. You can talk to people.
That's the way it is every day around here.
I want this.
I mean,
one day, Kurt,
keep reaching for that rainbow.
You'll have my seat. You can have my seat. You want to work here? Is that what you want? You can have it.
Not anymore.
That's now a greeter at Walmart.
It's kind of, if I could work from our studio, that'd be cool. But I'll take the set, just deliver it.
Yeah, you can have it.
What we did here is we took like 4 different sets and we combined them into one new set.
I love
we
it,
bought
man.
a TV and we turned it sideways.
I love it.
This is what we'll do.
It's the best.
You get a green screen.
Okay.
We'll send you a high-res picture of this set, and it'll be like you're on a Zoom call.
I like that.
Here.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
You know what? Like
We have the space for it, too.
We zoom you in like you're the weather girl, and
Put whatever you want behind me.
yeah, and you're like doing this and that, and like we're putting funny stuff behind you.
I don't know if I want
part
that.
of the show.
If-
I think could be
He's
you know,
at a
good.
Comic-Con this week checking in.
I could negotiate that in. I might entertain that. I just have to.
We have furries behind you.
Yeah. Have you ever? What was that late night show where he was on a green screen and he had to guess what was behind him?
Oh, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Was it David Letterman did that?
It might have been Conan. They used to do that green screen. The guy would like talk, or something like that.
Oh,
or Saturday Night
yeah,
Live.
it was a skit. It was
Yeah.
a segment. I think that was Conan, maybe either Conan or Fallon.
We need to bring that back for hunting.
Yeah, and they'd be like a monsoon or a tornado or and they're it's almost like a whose line is it anyways kind of a vibe. And they're like somebody's
Am I
telling
in
you
physical
what to do.
danger
They're like,
right
"Duck."
now?
Yeah. You guys need that on here.
We can do it.
That sounds like it would be
anything.
entertaining.
Can I be on the first couple? I want to be like the guy.
Yeah, let's do it here this
yeah.
afternoon.
Okay. Let's make it happen.
Roll out
Come
that
on,
green
guys,
screen.
chop.
Well, that's awesome. That's
All right.
a good segment idea.
Well,
I
thanks
don't
for
think so,
driving down
Tim.
from Illinois and hanging out with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate
Heck
it.
yeah.
A ton. It was fun.
Yeah, appreciate you coming down, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me a part of the jury team with Working Class on DeerCast. Much appreciated. So.
It's a fun partnership.
For sure. Until next time, peace out.
DeerCast is now supercharged with maps. Get ahead of your game with killer new features like live Doppler radar, wind check out to 5 days, virtual rain gauges, GPS path tracking, and more. Plus, get our 14-day revolutionary DeerCast prediction and access to DeerCast Track. Prep, predict, and pursue with DeerCast.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Leupold.